What's good, squad? What's good, my family? It's your girl Kaylee, and welcome to the corner. Um, Today is a good day because I have one of my favorite people coming to join me today. She's not a new face to the corner. She's been here once or twice, and I've promoted her podcast, Sex Symbols, quite often because it's one of my favorites. It got me through the pandemic really, really tough. But before we introduce Mo, go ahead and hit that like button for me. Comment, subscribe, let your girl know that you're in the corner with us today. You know, you want to stay because we keep it bossy, we keep it saucy, and you want to be notified when new content is dropping. You do. But without further delay, I'm gonna bring my girl Mo on. So y'all welcome her back to the corner because we gotta check good. We gotta check in. Hey girl, hey.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, participants of the corner?
Yes. I know it's been a minute. I think the last time that we spoke, we were talking about dating and all of that
Mm.
good. We definitely gonna touch on a couple of those because I know I know we got some new things going. But go ahead and just introduce yourself again. Let the people know who you are, what you do, where you're from, all that good stuff.
All right. Well, what's going on, everybody? It's your girl Mo. If you have listened to my podcast or me and my co-host podcast, it's called Sex Symbols. It is on all major platforms. I go by Mo Money Less Problems because there is some truth to that a little bit. Originally from Mississippi, so I'm gonna claim Mississippi to the day that I die.
Yes.
I currently reside in Dallas, Texas, right now, and I'm burning up. So I may be visiting Mississippi a lot sooner than what I expected. But I'm 30 years old. I'm a Pisces. If y'all are into that, I don't have any kids, but I love kids, and I just love interacting with people, understanding what makes them tick, how they think the way they think. Because truly, all people think differently. So it's one of my biggest things when I get to tap into people's deeper inner thoughts and see how they actually um, do what they do and see how they see, feel how they feel. So yeah.
Love it, love it. So yeah, definitely you guys go type in sex symbols and you'll get all of the colorful things and all of the colorful love from my girl and her co-host. Yeah, we did. I think we did tap on like dating and then being I think I had invited you on the single friend episode, and one of them we had some technical issues, but
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna dive into a little bit more depth things. But I do want to kind of bridge that gap. So we're gonna do an icebreaker of do and don't. I'm gonna name three things, and you tell me if it's okay for us women to do or don't do when it's time to date.
Okay, let's
All
go.
right. So planning the first date.
Mm, that's a trick question. Planning the first date. So, if the conversation of a date was brought up by the woman, then I can see I do. But if the conversation of a date was initiated by the man, then sir, you're gonna have to plan it out. Um, I definitely want you to, I can't speak for everybody else, but me personally, I like when a man takes the initiative, especially when they put out there an idea. I like for them to follow through with it. So if you're gonna offer a date, hey, have a place in mind, set up time, meet
Yes.
up, So yeah, definitely do if we initiate it. Don't if the man initiated. Y'all gotta come through with
Yes. Okay. I think we're on the same page. Um, I know some people get a little excited during the first stages of talking. Is sexting okay before you have an official date? Do you sext before you do that?
Um, it depends on how long we've been communicating before the first date. I feel like we're all grown. If you are horny, you just horny. So, and if it's a mutual agreement amongst the two of y'all or three of y'all, however you like to do it, then yeah, I think it's totally fine to sex before the first date. It just
All right.
depends on the time that y'all been talking.
Gotcha. All right. So been dating for a little bit. Do we pay for dates?
Woo! Okay, so the pay for date thing kind of can go either way with me, honestly. If you initiated it though, I do like you to take hold of the reins and hold on to that monster, and yeah, issue out payment. But it's I, I can sit here and lie and say that it's not a deal breaker, but it is a deal breaker. If I have to come out of my pocket, the first date, especially if you mentioned it and you planned the whole thing, like yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just one of those things with me. But I do prefer like chivalry, and I do like for the man to take hold and pay for it.
Okay.
But
Especially when it's, I feel like it's a problem when we say anything about soft girl energy, and but
hmm
then you want us to be in soft girl spaces.
yep,
So so
yep, I agree. I agree.
but I also on the flip side, okay, you've done everything up to par, and it's
hmm
something special, and I want to surprise you. Then I think
hmm
that'll be a do.
That's
I
it.
will.
That's it. That's when I will too. I absolutely
Okay,
agree.
gotcha. It was one more. Where was I going with this one? Oh my god, it was just in my head. Where was I going with this one? I'll bring it back up later because
All
I
right.
think it was a good one. All right, so what's hot in the press?
mm,
I'm gonna run it back to 2 episodes ago. I mentioned Kiki Palmer whole dress situation with her baby's father.
hmm
What's your take on this, Mo?
I think honestly, he just had some insecurity problems. Because anybody who's been following Kiki Palmer knows that what she wore is not far fetched from what she normally wears. Girl looked bomb in it. Okay.
Yes.
I When I saw the video clip, it looked so innocent to me, and I do like to see things from multiple perspectives. So I did try to look at the situation from his perspective, and honestly, the only thing I can get from it is just the fact that he was jealous. He was a little bit of jealous in the moment, because of the attention that Kiki was getting from Usher. Men, not speaking on all men, but most
Yes.
men have very fragile egos. And I think that his was tapped a little bit when he realized that Usher was serenading Kiki, and it was this whole thing. But I don't see anything wrong with it. Um, Only I may have pulled back from Usher a little bit, but at the end of the day, um, homegirl ain't married. She ain't married to him. So
Single till she ain't single. I think
single till she ain't single. You
yeah,
said it.
I didn't see any problems with it either. I feel like they're both entertainers, and when you go
hmm
to a concert, you know that they entertain.
Yeah.
I don't think he touched her inappropriately. They kind of just moved it. Think about it like this. Okay, we at a wedding, and you know how they
hmm
switch partners, and sometimes you get that old uncle that come get you. You gonna have a problem with old uncle dancing with
Mhm.
me?
He is. He is. That's just in him. That's just, and he let that be known. His little ego got stroked a little bit. He got a little in his feelings about the whole situation. And honestly, it sounded like he was speaking more from a threatened perspective. Like he felt like he was threatened by
Mm-hmm.
Usher's presence. So he just wanted to speak out and let everybody know, look, she
Yeah,
hurt my
it
feelings.
was
You
it
shouldn't
was
be
definitely
doing
less
that.
about that dress. It was less
Yes,
about the dress and more
definitely
about
less about the dress.
Usher.
Like she stated, I think she went live or whatever. She made a tweet or something saying that he knew what she was wearing before she walked out the house. So I definitely understand that. Hmm
See, and that I think I said that too. Like, y'all spend entirely too much time together. Y'all live together. It's not like you didn't know what I had chose to go
hmm
out that night.
Yep.
But I digress. We're gonna move to the second one. Where is it? So, should a world champion boxer have a fat girlfriend? Quote, mother of Terrence Crawford's 6 children, Alindra Person received no mercy after stepping into the public light.
I
Mm.
have seen this. I have seen this. And I think that is one of the detrimental aspects of Western civilization. Look at girl. Look at baby.
Sis
Baby
is
is
popping.
beautiful. And this is the thing with Western culture, especially our our people when it comes to Western culture. They're so consumed in what they feel like the world wants them to see them with and not what they actually want to be with. And
Facts.
sis is beautiful. I don't see anything wrong with her at all, baby. And I don't know, maybe that may be a thing that I have for heavier
Curvy
set
girls.
women or
I
curvy girls. It's just
listen.
no offense to the skinny, beautiful women. No offense,
Not
okay? But it's something about
nobody.
that curvy
Nobody
woman.
shame here.
Nobody shame here, but curvy women, certain clothes, certain things, they just can fill it out so much better.
And
And
I'm gonna just put this back up here. Look at her.
look at her, she's beautiful. So I just think it's just society now in the US.
Exactly.
They feel like, oh, okay, well, we want to see you. If you're a fit boxer, we want to see you with a fit woman. But what about what he
Yeah.
wants to see himself with? If she makes him
Who's been there? Who's
right, he's
she embedded 6 kids.
6 of his children. He must love being there. Let him. They value so much of an aesthetic look now than they do an actual
That's the part.
emotional feel or emotional tie to someone. If he loves that woman, he loves that woman, and she is beautiful. She is
Indeed.
gorgeous. So I feel like it's just that's shallow for a lot of
I
people to
agree.
say that. It's just the culture, the society that we live in now.
They get wrapped up in this power couple and what the power couple is supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you also have to think about this: just because he loves boxing and fitness, that does not mean that she does not love it. But that does not mean that that's her thing either.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Mm-hmm.
like when you're in a relationship and you're that committed, you have to have your own lanes as well. So you can't expect one person to consistently do what the next person does. Y'all can't put
Absolutely.
that stipulation on her.
Absolutely. And who's to say that she doesn't like working out, because the
Exactly.
workouts have different body types. And
Exactly.
people neglect to acknowledge the multiple different body types when it comes to people who work out. I've seen body
Mhm.
types of all shapes, sizes, body fat
It's a
percentages.
yoga lady. Her name is Jasmine. She's curvy, love her.
Beautiful, yes. And she is so flexible. Let me
She
tell you,
can do. I was
she's
say
more
she can do
flexible than
some
me.
things I can't do.
Exactly. So her and there's this weightlifting lady. She's real muscular. But I'm when I say 500 pounds and more, she can go. And it's just people just they're so naive. Like they
Indeed.
choose to neglect reality and they get stuck in this fake persona or perception of what the world is. And a lot of people blame it on social media, but truthfully, it boils down to the person. It's just if that's the way you think, that's just the way you think.
Facts. So we're just gonna leave them where they at. And again, I just have to post this again. Sis is fly.
It's
Sis is
beautiful,
fly.
and they're a
Bodies and
beautiful couple.
she reminds me of, I don't know if you remember, Ashanti's sister. She
I,
looks like Ashanti's sister. Go Google her once we get done.
she actually looks like Ashanti, just
Uh,
a
and
thicker Ashanti.
she looks just like her. Her sister
Hmm.
looks just like her. So
Really, I'm
mhm.
gonna have to look that up.
Yeah. All right, all right. And the last thing was hot in the press. Have you okay, the whole Summer Walker and Meech Boy, whatever his name is.
Mm.
This whole
This whole thing. So
yeah.
I haven't been following that a lot. I did see where Saucy Santana posted a lot of videos and pictures of them going out, and I looked. I'm like, is that Summer? Like, is it Walker? Summer Walker, a little shy Summer Walker. But
Hmm.
it was beautiful. It was beautiful seeing her in her element. It was beautiful seeing her enjoy herself. But truthfully, we all know that she was enjoying herself because she was hurting. You got to deflect the hurt in some type of way. So I just hope that in the future she starts loving on herself more because she is a beautiful, talented, intelligent young woman. And I think it's I can't just say it's just the choice of men for a person because I hate when people say, well, you just choose the wrong men. Sometimes we don't know how these men are. They're wrapped differently than what the package actually is.
Yeah.
So,
I was gonna say definitely energy.
mhm,
Me and my friend we talk about this quite often because she was like, I just seem to attract the same energy. What am I giving off
Mhm.
that attracts the same energy? And I think she's still Summer is still in a space of, especially with that last album that she dropped, you can
Yeah.
see the layers of.
Mhm.
I don't really feel like the elevation has moved to I don't want this toxic
Yeah. Yeah.
anymore.
Mhm.
So a lot of people are banking on this being something that she can make a whole nother, another album of hurt but good music.
Mhm.
But I pray that she finds some discernment and work on herself so that she can get that healing in the inside so you can start attracting new energy that's gonna fulfill you.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is. And so people do attract the same type of energies in different bodies. It all boils down to if you've learned from the last experience. So that's what it is. You have to learn from the last experience. If you're constantly attracting the same energies and you're not realizing like, hey, this is the same type of person in a different body.
Yes.
What did I do to get here? Then you're going to continuously go through that loop and continuously go through that cycle because you don't know what it is that you're supposed to be learning in order to break the cycle. So
Indeed.
with Summer, it's her day is coming, her time is coming. Sooner than later, Meech or whatever his name is, he's just one of those numbers in the celebrity realm where they don't care. You would think that with all the cameras and lights on you all the time as a celebrity,
Mhm.
you would make better decisions in the things that you
Yeah.
do, but they don't. So kudos to Summer for getting out here and living her hot girl summer right now.
Facts.
Mhm.
All right, all right. So I love sessions like this where we can kiki. That's what friends do, and that
Mhm.
brings me to the whole center point of this podcast. Friendship relationships matter too. So I'm
Yes.
checking in today with my friend, and we're gonna get into the dynamics of friendship relationships.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I know somebody had, I don't know who said it, but they were like, friends can be your soulmate too, and that's on a platonic level. I ain't trying to
Oh,
go that far.
absolutely.
I ain't gonna try to go exactly that far, but yeah, they do matter because I think your friends are a reflection of you and your growth
Absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely.
So
Yes. I
we met. When
definitely.
did we meet?
Oh,
When
girl,
did
it's been years. So, we met when we both were on the musical aspect of our careers. Um, you were busting down bad singles, and I want to say that I don't know if you made a whole album or not. I think or maybe that was just a couple of songs I checked out of yours. This is way
yeah.
back when, like we've been knowing each other since like maybe 2011, 2012, because that's when I was on my
Yes.
whole singing/rap journey. it
But
has been
yeah,
a long time.
around that time I dropped my first mini tape.
Hmm.
And then I came, yeah, my capstone project in school. I dropped the whole album. So yeah,
Yep.
you are different. You are definitely
I remember
correct.
it all. I remember it all. I was like, this girl is fine. Around that time in Mississippi, there were so many artists, underground artists that were actually so dope. But
Yes,
they didn't have I'm not gonna say technology. We didn't have the connects to where we can actually get our artistry out there like that. So it was hard, but it that was one of the highlights of my whole life back then because just finding different artists from
yes,
Mississippi that were just bomb, and it's still so many artists from Mississippi that are so bomb that just have not gotten the opportunity to get their art
yeah.
out there just yet. So,
And I think that's what led me to our initial brand management track because there's a lot of questions that they have, and
mhm.
hey, I can help get you the answers.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
absolutely. But yeah, friendship.
definitely.
Yeah.
So we started from the bottom. Now we here.
Now we
Sis just made a whole move to Dallas, living her
uh
best life. So I just
girl.
want to check in. What's new? I saw you made a post the other day, something about dating. I need to know the T, ma'am.
Oh, dating. Oh. So dating in general or dating out here in Dallas?
Out there in
Both.
Dallas.
Oh,
Uh,
dating in
uh,
Dallas is horrible. So
oh God.
oh God, it's so many pages on Facebook where they are talking about dating in Dallas. Dating in Dallas is horrible. The reason being is because the people and the atmosphere of Dallas. I love Dallas, don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful city, popping. The economy is booming. The jobs are everywhere. The job market is crazy. The educational systems are amazing. But the people in Dallas are so different because they're so career driven that yeah,
Yeah.
they stay in their own lanes a lot. So there are a lot of groups on Facebook and stuff where people who are transplants are talking about how hard it is to make friendships in Dallas and to have
Mm,
relationships or dating in Dallas as a whole because people are so one track mind, not
to
necessarily one
their
track mind. Yeah, they're in
used
their
to their
own
comfort.
lane. Yeah. So it's like it's a bit of a struggle to make friends out here. It's a bit of a struggle
Oh,
to date out here. Um because people, excuse me, are in their own world and they're focused on doing what they need to do and they're, it's definitely a lot. They claim to be southern, which is so funny to me because yes, Texas is on the southern region of the US of A, but they are not southern. The culture out here is more midwestern than
really?
anything. Yes, yes, it is. And it's so funny because I'm not the only one who feels like this out here, especially when we're originally from like Tennessee or
Hmm.
Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana. Everybody feels the same. Like they claim to be southern, but they're
Southern.
not southern. Like no, the trail rides and everything, they can do it all, but it's still not like back home. It's nothing
I
like back
get
home.
you.
So yeah, it's
Wow.
a bit of a journey. It is. It's crazy.
Wow. Well, I have no doubts that you'll acclimate and maybe change some people, the right people's mind when it comes to those comfort zones. So that brings me to my next question.
Mhm.
Characteristics of good friendships, loyal friends. What
Uh-huh.
characteristics do you require?
Yeah. So you did. I want to piggyback on something you said earlier because you did mention that there are instances where friendships do become platonic and they friendships actually do. There are soulmates. I say this to the day that I die that my best friend currently today is my soulmate, and she made a
Oh,
soul bond with us. Um, and it was just something she said, and we've been lashed on like that for since then.
yes.
So we definitely start off as platonic. It was very hard to maneuver through that relationship because it was new for both of us, and the aspect of our friendship, it was so different than a regular high school friendship. So it was
Right.
deeper on a deeper level. Um, Characteristics of good friendship for me. I feel like a lot of people use the term friend or friendship so loosely. For me, a good friend is someone who will show up for me when I'm down or show up for me through the bad times. That is the main make or break because you can have good times with anybody. You can go out and party with anybody. You can have drinks with anybody. But if you're not in the church with that person, if you're a spiritual person or a religious person, if you guys aren't having church days together, if you're not crying together, if you're not laughing together, if you're not holding each other when you need it the most, if you're not showing up for them when you need it the most, if you're not understanding that, okay, I'm distancing myself, but it's not because I'm acting funny, it's just because that I'm going through something. Check in on me
Yes.
without me having to ask you to check in. That is a good friendship for me, to me.
I
Now,
agree.
I know people are different and they're like, oh, well, I have friends and we don't have to talk to each other every day, every month, or every year, but they know that I'm friends. I need to check in
I,
on you.
yeah, I've had a few people say that, and I really just don't like that. I don't.
Me either.
I feel like we disconnect in those moments. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know you anymore. But
Mm-hmm.
I definitely have friends who we can I can call Jasmine right now. Shout out to
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine. She already know. I can call her now. We can have a nap date. Come over so we can have a nap date.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She can notice when my moods switch and be like, she'll send me $10, like, go get you some ice cream. You need some ice cream.
That is a friendship to me. That is a friendship to
So
me. Come through when I need you because for me, I know I'm doing nothing less than gonna come through for you. If I feel like you're going through something, if you're dealing with something, it's nothing for me to show up at your door and be like, "Come on, let's pop some popcorn, let's watch a movie, talk to me." That's how I am, and I expect the same in return. So if
exactly.
I'm not getting that, and I'm having to constantly compromise because you're not that type of person that does that, then I feel like I'm cheating myself out of a good friendship. So I definitely understand that, and I'm not not speaking down on the friendships who can go that long period of time without
Yeah,
talking to each
but
other.
that
But
doesn't
like you
work for
said,
you.
it does not work for me. So I mean, if it works for them, it's beautiful. But for me, I'll tell them up front that don't work for me. I need to hear from
Mm-mm.
you at least every week to know you're okay. You're not going through nothing. You're
Exactly.
doing good. Now
Hence
is
the reason I
Jasmine.
do my Monday mental checks.
And let me tell y'all, she never misses a Monday mental check. And this is I continuously have been telling myself forever, I gotta do better. I gotta do better. So the whole spiel of when you went through what you were going through, I was so I think even though you and I don't speak on a daily basis like that, that portion of your life really did something to me emotionally, spiritually. I was so tore up. I was so concerned. I was so worried. And I was like, God, I haven't heard from her. So I was checking in. I didn't really know who to check in to. So I was like, I was finding posts. I'm like, hey, have y'all talked to her today? Have you talked to her mom today? Something like that. So it was a very emotional period for me because I know it was so emotional for you. And that's just one of those things. But now is Jasmine the one that also you had a podcast or ran a podcast or
Um, I think you're talking about Ashley. Ashley, D.
Ashley,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
And yeah, I was just talking to her the other day, so she'll be introducing some new things for her business, and I think she's gonna start more lives and more additions to the podcast. Stay tuned with that. But Jasmine, she's always in the comments, here and there. You'll see her name pop up at times, and she's a huge support. Shout
Yes,
out to my
she is.
girl Courtney as well. She's been my best friend since first grade, so she
Oh,
knows me like no other.
yeah.
And I have a friend who used to stay in Dallas.
Uh-huh.
Her name is Ayla, and she transitioned back to Mississippi to help out with her grandparents and her
Okay.
mom and stuff. But yes, me and her we connected. Her dad was one of my graphic design clients. And
Really?
yes, and I used to do like the trail rides, like that was his whole little spiel. Like he had
Mm-hmm.
trail rides, he had connections with people in Arkansas,
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana, all over. But he would tell her to send me the payment. So when I saw her name coming through, I was like, okay, maybe she's older or whatnot. But when he passed away, I found out just randomly she was requesting something. I was like, well, I told your dad, this is how it's gonna go. She was like, oh, you don't know. So she called me. And when I say
Mm-hmm.
once we had that moment of her telling me exactly what happened,
Yeah.
we became best friends like this. So
Yeah.
that that's my ex. Like that's my business partner. Like matter of fact, we know if I'm up at 3 o'clock, I know she's up at 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we are connected.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of those things like friends can definitely be soulmates, and when you know when you're soulmates because you start to feel each other's connection like that. So you know that I'm up, or you know that I'm going through something, or you know that hey, or you have something on your mind or something going on,
Yeah,
like you just know those things about that person. So that's beautiful.
definitely. Awesome, awesome. So I know we are all grown. We got different stuff going on, different businesses, adventures, moves, and all of that. How do we properly check in with our friends?
So it's gonna work differently for everybody. I know me, if I'm going through a lot or if I'm dealing with a lot or I'm really busy, I'll send a text message. If it maybe one day out that week or something saying like, hey, I'm sorry, I've been really, really busy. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Just outlining what's going on and letting them know like, hey, I may not be checking in like that. for a few days or a few weeks or so. So they definitely understand and they get it when I tell them like, hey, I'm going through something, I'm doing something, I'm doing something. So properly checking in is different for everybody. Um like I said, some people don't check in for months at a time and be like, "Hey, I was going through something 2 months ago. I'm sorry, I'm just not checking in." And that's just them. That's what works for them.
Yeah.
But properly, it's gonna be defined by different people. For me, I definitely want to let you know like what's going on, so you're aware of what's
Right.
going on. So you're not in the blinds or anything like that.
Right. Communication is definitely key for all relationships.
Mhm.
So if you can let me know, that hey, I'm not doing this because of this. Is it's more personal.
Mhm.
I give you space, but again, that's why I do my Monday mental checks, just to
Mhm.
give you a chance whether you are needing a session to vent, or it's something new that you want to say, or
Mhm.
just a moment to say, hey, I may or may not be present for a little while. So that gives you a chance to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. A lot of times we meet new people and we don't know exactly what their communication style is, but how do we I guess stop the one-sided friendships where one is doing more than the other?
Definitely have to talk about it. You definitely have to. As a matter of fact, people change on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis. So definitely communicating about what works best for you. It's no different in friendships than it is in relationships when you're communicating about your love language. Friendships have love languages too. And you have to definitely sit down and see what works best for each person and whether or not both people or however many people are involved in the situation is willing to compromise. um that's the biggest thing. So knowing how other people react to certain things or adapt to certain things is major key. Definitely having a conversation about it. Definitely talking about it. Not letting it go too long without addressing it, because you need to address it when you need to address it. Um,
Exactly.
and see what works for you so you don't continuously keep running into that. And when you do sit down and have the conversation about it, make sure that you're both in agreement with how the conversation ends. Because if one is okay with how it ends and the other continues to carry it on for days after, like, just thinking about it back to back in the back of the head,
It was it
they
was
haven't.
purposeless.
Yeah,
It had no
it
purpose.
it did not click. So somewhere in your communication styles, you have to reiterate how you're coming off or how you're giving off the message that you're trying to say. So it all boils down to communication every time.
Oh, oh, and I like the fact that you mentioned love languages, because I started to read the book. So I bought the marriage one first, and of
Hmm.
course, in that one, of course, that was his very first book, and then he came back and had different. He had one for the singles. I think he has one
Hmm.
for children,
Hmm.
and I want to say friendships as well. Yeah, don't quote me on that, but he has about four.
Hmm.
So, in one of them, he was mentioning like parent relationships, that can even do a thing too. So you have to take into account that everybody has a love language. So are
Hmm.
you sending love to your friend in your love language or theirs?
Right. Right. And
So you have to be mindful of that.
hmm.
Example, like me, I'm very detail oriented. I like to give people experiences. So when their birthdays come, I go all out with, and I've been paying attention all year. What did you say that you wanted? We're gonna
Hmm.
do this. I'm gonna take you here. I'm gonna surprise you with this. I
Hmm.
love doing that. And then I had a conversation with a friend. We broke it down. I was like, I do this.
Hmm.
I don't really see that same effort. So we sat down and had that conversation of why, and I think she understood exactly what I meant. So
Hmm.
now she's working a lot harder to show me that she's loving me in my love language.
Hmm.
If that makes
Hmm.
sense. So
Yeah.
I think we were on the opposite end of the spectrums when it came
Hmm.
to kind of celebrating each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And it's no harm that if you have a friend who loves you and wants to come through for you, they will sit down and be willing to learn how they can come through for you and understand how they can. Now, when you have those friends that just make excuses and be like, "Oh, okay, well, this is not how I operate. I don't do this. I don't do that. This is not how I do this." Then they're obviously not trying to put forth the effort to come through for the friendship like they need to. And then you might need to rethink your whole friendship because they're not putting forth an effort to wanting to understand you on that particular type of level. So yeah, that's definitely a thing.
I agree. I went into a moment of just kind of reevaluating certain friendships. Like, am I here because I serve a purpose that's beneficial to you? Or are we
Mm-hmm.
in this because we're both being supportive of each other? So
Yes.
the ones that I felt like I was doing, too much, for the sake of being at service to you, I let a lot
Mm-hmm.
of those go.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. And people don't talk about how letting friendships go hurts. Like it hurt. It's not an easy thing to do. It hurts. It's a
Mhm.
breakup.
Yep.
Me and my best friend went through the same thing. There were so many times we were on different playing fields as well. I was more or less a person like you. Like I would come through regardless. If you say you like this, let me try to get you this. If you want to go here, let me try to take you here for your birthday or something.
Yes.
And she would come through, but hers was more or less, let me buy you this. Let me buy you
Mm.
this item. Let me take you out to eat. Let me do this. And it didn't hurt until I realized, like, you know what? We're not giving the same amount of energy. Or maybe I don't feel like you're giving the same amount of energy to me as I'm giving to you because I'm
That's
going
not
all
your
out
love
for you.
language.
Yeah.
That wasn't
And
your love
that's
language.
it was two different love languages. So now I know how to handle her accordingly. It sounds bad, but handle the relationship accordingly, because without having to completely distance myself from her or
Mhm.
cut off the friendship completely. Because there were times I tried to cut off the friendship because we were not on the same playing field. So
Yeah, I think we had a
but
conversation about that.
mhm, yeah, plenty. Boy, me and my best friend they went through a lot, and so it's just me understanding like, okay, well now this is how I have to handle her because this is what she understands. And she's tried to compromise with me a few times, but sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not. I've learned not to hold that against her because she
Right.
tried. So you just have to handle them the way that works best for the relationship, the friendship, and you and that person as well.
Got you. So I think when it's about observation, all of it.
Hmm.
So getting into that, do you notice when your friend is going through something? Like how do you address it? Like I know you feeling a way about something.
I do. And I don't know whether that's just a Pisces thing, if you guys are into zodiacs or anything like that, but
Intuitive, very
yeah,
intuitive.
very intuitive. You like the tone in their voice, the look in their eyes, the walk. Anything can give off, okay, something is off, something is not right. Um, I know for me and her, we do distance ourselves when we're going through something. I was shut completely off from the world when I'm going through something, and I'm learning not to do that. But more normally, that's what I do to get
Okay.
myself together, and that's what she does a lot of the times. But I also can hear it in her voice.
Okay.
Her voice definitely changes tone when she's going through something, when she's dealing with something. So I try to pull her to the side and talk to her, like, hey, what's going on? And sometimes y'all gonna have friends where they're not open. They don't open up about what they're going through. They don't open up about how they feel. But it's up to you. If you know that person and you love that person and you're observant of that person, you'll see it. It'll show in something. It might show in the way they eat, the way
Mhm.
they talk, the way they sleep. If they're sleeping a lot, if they're not sleeping enough, you're gonna see it. You're
I
gonna see
think
what's going
most of
on.
my friends can notice in my text messages how I.
Yep,
So yeah.
yep. When it goes from a real detailed text message to, oh, okay, 2 word text message. What's going on with you? What is going on? And I ask
Right.
quickly, like, okay, what's wrong with you? And unless I ask, she won't tell me. So I'm like, I can tell you. You're right. You're right.
because I be trying to handle it by myself and not burden anybody. But I'm learning also to not do that either, because I ask y'all to be open with me, and that's
Mhm.
unfair of me to not be open with y'all.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I've learned in a new friendship that I've had out here in Dallas. Um, you're definitely not alone in it, especially when you have a friend who wants to understand, who wants to be there for you, who wants to help. It is not fair to them that you close yourself off from them and don't actually explain what you're going through so they know. Give them a heads
Exactly.
up. Let them know, because people who are for you will be for you even in bad times. That's just how you know.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Let's dive off into relationships and friendships. So, how do we balance the two? If we, if I
Hmm.
say, "Hey, I got a new boo," how do I balance, my friendships and my relationship?
It works different for everybody. Um, you just have to. There's not. So a lot of people will say put a priority on it. Which one is primary? Which one is secondary to you? I don't necessarily agree with that. I say whichever one comes first in that moment. And it sounds selfish, but when I'm in relationships, I definitely don't cut my friends off. And I know a lot of people who, when they get in a relationship, they just forget all about their friends. No, find a
Facts.
schedule that works best for you and your partner and you and your friends. It is okay to divide your time up as long as you're okay with dividing your time up. Don't cut
Yes.
one off for the other. I have never been able to understand that. Like I understand you get so engulfed in your partner that you guys are spending time together.
Time together, and that's
But if
fine.
yeah, but if me and
You
my
just
girls have
disappear. You
Sunday
can
brunch,
ghost.
yeah, and if me and my girls have Sunday brunch and we playing this every Sunday, that's where I'm gonna be at every Sunday because we've
Thank
already had these plans prior to my relationship. So it's definitely a balance. You have to know when, how, and where, and you have to know to include the two. Split your
you.
time
Exactly.
up. Time is one thing that we either have too much of or we don't have enough of. And it all boils down to you. So split your time up. Tell Bay, hey, look, Bay, me and you gonna hang out Monday and Tuesday. Let's plan something Monday and Tuesday. But I'm with my girls Thursday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Exactly.
And that's
I
it.
really like Sex in the City, and how
Yeah.
the men in their lives knew that them girls were special in their lives, so they respected
Mm-hmm.
it. So my
Yes.
my boo is gonna know that. He's gonna know that my friends mean a lot to me. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
think when I talk to people, they already know. They were like, "You got a big heart. You try to make sure everybody is okay, and as long
Mm-hmm.
as you understand that, we good." And you have no
Exactly.
problem with it.
Exactly.
I actually want him to have his own life, and I
Ex-
have
and
my own.
That is so important. And people in relationships, they tend to lose focus that you are your own person. Please have a life outside of me.
Exactly.
Please have a
I don't
life
want to
outside
be
of me.
like, oh yeah, me and Bay is doing this. Like, it really look like Bay ain't got no friends of his own, and I
Hmm.
don't. When it look like you don't have friends, and I do, that's a problem.
It's a huge problem because there's going to be jealousy in there. Insecurities going to heighten because now, oh, you with them all the time. You ain't never with me. No, you better have your own
Mm,
friends. Have your
mm,
own friends, or at least have an understanding that okay, she does have her friends. They do have an important part in her life. They do have priority in her life for on certain occasions. So I need to be okay with that. A lot of times
exactly.
you have to introduce introduce them. Let them know like, hey, this is this person, this is that person. So you know who I'm with. Get a good
And
feel
I will
because
say, my friends' opinion of who I'm with, it matters, because sometimes they can
mm-hmm.
probably see something that I cannot.
Yes, yes. And that's a whole nother thing in itself, girl. Please, if you see something that I don't see, tell me because I want to know. I'm not one of those friends that you come back and you tell me something. I'm like,
I don't
that's
believe you.
not true. I don't believe you. I'm going to take into
Mm-mm.
consideration what you said,
I'm
and then
gonna
I'm going to go have
observe.
a, yes, I'm going to observe and I'm going to also have that conversation with my partner to know, like, hey, is this what's going on? So mm, it's a
Yeah.
lot.
So, but yeah, the balance between friendships and relationships, I will say, early on, I used to be like, I'm not gonna be that type of friend to uh be all up in engulfed in a man. I'm gonna be still be there for my friend. I
Mhm.
will go ahead and admit that was kind of a downfall in one of my previous relationships because I gave my friends way more time than I gave my dude.
Yeah.
So I'm working on finding that balance. And like I said, once I had a conversation with him, once I have that conversation with them, so that we can know. And you brought up some good points to have the schedule, just so that it can be a good balance and everybody's okay and one doesn't feel away because I'm hanging out with the other.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
uh, I do. When let's say I got mad at dude,
Mhm.
and I tell y'all, of course, I'm going in, but then I forgive him. Do friends forgive him too?
So when if your friends love you, it'd be harder for them to forgive him than it is for you. Because once you tell me something about a person hurting you, then now I have something to hold on to when it comes to my personal feelings for that person. Now, if I see that you're happy, I'm going to try to be as happy as you need me to be. But in the back of my head as a friend, I'm still going to remember that time he hurt you. Um,
Facts.
so it's not saying that I'm gonna display what is in the back of my head. I'm gonna
Yeah,
love
but
that person as long as you love him. I'm gonna love him.
I'm gonna be on alert. I'm gonna be trying to observe whether the actions have changed from whatever that was that they hurt me
Mm-hmm.
from. But if it's still the same, to be honest, my face can't hide. Can't it can't it cannot it can't.
Yeah,
If you happy, I'm happy. But my face
yeah,
can't hide it, and I think sometimes some of them know.
yeah, yeah. It definitely displays on your face first, girl. I don't blame you because I'll that disgusted look. Yeah, it'll come up out of nowhere, and I'm
Especially
guilty
if it
of it
was that
too.
bad or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But if
Like it was.
something light,
Yeah.
I'm the voice of reason. I'm like, girl, you were doing too much, or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. It just depends
Yeah.
on the what it is.
Yeah, definitely. If it's something that I deem extreme, yeah, ain't no coming back. Like you didn't had a baby on my friend, ain't no coming back from that.
Ooh,
There's no
ooh.
coming back from that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah.
But so that's safe to
Mhm.
say that when you tell us, of course, we don't forgive them as easily as y'all do. We still,
Mhm.
we still give them the side eye, trying
Mhm.
to observe and discern whether he even deserves more of your time.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because he definitely ain't getting no more of my time. But if if he makes you happy and you are genuinely being happy without suffering, I'm gonna be happy. But I'm still gonna remember that time Bobo went down there and he did something that he wasn't supposed to do. So yeah.
Facts.
So yeah, it doesn't leave. It definitely doesn't leave.
Cool, cool. All right, so I'm a lover of love. I'm a Cancer. You a Pisces. We love love. We do.
That's it. Yeah.
But how do we kind of dull down the my man with our friends? Like every conversation is about this man.
Oh, so I'm one of those that I'm gonna tell you, I don't want to hear about them. Like, and it took me a long time to get here. Don't get me wrong, it
Okay.
took me a very
Okay.
long time to get to this point where I'm like, every time I talk to you, I don't want to hear about this man. Um, because there a lot of times, a lot of friendships that I've had in my past, I did end those friendships because every other word was about their partner. My man,
My
my man,
man, my
my man,
man,
my
my
girl, my
man, my
girl, my
man.
girl. I don't want to hear about that all the time, but I'm here to listen to it. Now, where
Exactly.
it became an issue for me when it was my man did this and he was wrong, or my man did that and he keeps being, every time your man or your girl is wrong and you keep taking it back, you're not finding a reason um to resolve what's going on, or you're not trying to resolve the issue, you just sitting there complaining about what's going on. Get out of my face.
You just
And
like to have something to
you
complain about.
exactly. And at this point, there's nothing else I can say. So I used to just sit there and listen to everything, take in everything, but then you realize you can feel people's emotions. And a lot of that stuff becomes too much for you. It
Oh,
becomes too much for you to carry, hearing them
yeah.
continuously talk about it. So I had to start putting myself first and letting them know, like, hey, I can't talk about this
Mhm.
again today. or I can't, we can't, like, I want you to express how you feel, but
Feel.
at this moment, I don't have enough energy to carry your energy to me. So we
I
can't talk
I've
about
been
this conversation
adopting
right
that
now.
as well.
It takes
I
a minute now. It
I'm
takes a
an
while to get
empath,
there.
and then
Exactly.
then with my brain situation, I felt myself getting overheated at things that overwhelm me. So
Mhm.
at times I did just kind of stand back because I can't take on your emotions
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all it is. So I've started speaking on that and like, no, I'm not gonna talk. We're not gonna talk about this right now. Um, and it's more or less unless you find a solution to it. Like if you're talking
Yeah.
to me about something and you're not trying to find a solution to it, I'm not gonna keep entertaining that conversation.
Yeah, you can't my man me with all these
Mhm.
problems and not
Mhm.
expect me to try to help you with a resolution, then you shut down
Mhm.
resolutions, then
Mhm.
that's another problem.
Yeah.
You just want
Or
want somebody to listen to you.
right, or those instances where that's all they can talk about is their man. Then I start questioning your personality because now you're forming your whole personality around this
Around this
person.
man.
You have nothing else to say. You have no other interests in your life, no other personalities outside of this man. Now
And
there's a
that's the
problem.
thing. And
Mhm.
again, when I reach out to y'all Monday mental check, of course I want to hear about the things that's making you happy, but I also want to hear about the stuff that you aspire to do
Mhm.
so that we can glow up and bounce up together. Like
Yeah.
that's something I'm big on. Like I've been there, being in a relationship where I lost myself, and
Yes.
the journey is finding who I am has been beautiful, and I want to keep
Mhm.
going on that path, and I want to see that for
Mhm.
all my girls too.
Mhm. I 100% agree. I definitely do. I definitely do. So yeah, in those instances, you just have to take it as a like a grain of salt and just be open and honest about it. I can't deal with hearing this right now. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not it that doesn't make you a bad person at all. It just
Person,
makes you more aware of what you can handle, what you can handle emotionally and mentally at that moment.
awesome, awesome. I love it. So just kind of wrap this up as far as friendship relationship. What are some of the best outings for friends, and what's on your bucket list for you and your friends to do? What we gonna do
Um,
when I come to Dallas?
Baby, we're gonna do so much. Okay, we're gonna do so much. So me personally, I am not a nightclub type person, but I will go to nightclubs. Okay,
Okay.
I like jazz bars, live music, mimosas on
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, art galleries,
Speak to
um,
my soul, girl. Speak to my soul.
yes, festivals. I love museums. I love nature walks. However, you're not gonna get me out there right now because it's
It's
too
hot.
hot. It's too hot. Like this heat is
It's
unbearable at this
hellish.
moment. Oh my God. But yeah, so the best outings for friends, it just depends on what speaks to y'all soul. If y'all like to do out club um clubs at night, that's on you. If you like to go out for lunch, because food, I'm a foodie. I'm a huge
Mm-hmm.
foodie, and I think
Mm-hmm.
people food you it's always gonna be
You
a
can't
hit
go
for
wrong.
people. You can't go wrong with it. Let's try a new restaurant. Let's go somewhere where and there are plenty. That's the one thing I do like about Dallas. There are plenty of restaurants. Now they'll say their food is good. It ain't like Mississippi food, but
Thank you,
but
thank you. Okay, no shade to my uncle, but
no
he
way.
said something about a barbecue place in Austin, and my cousin was like, "It ain't
Uh-uh.
Mississippi." I was
No,
like,
no. Even the Dickies out here ain't hidden like that. So it's definitely a difference in food, but it's a beautiful thing to explore your palate. So you can never
okay,
go wrong with food. When
hey,
friends or
I'm all
yeah.
for it. I'm trying to find new things to add to my new list of 34 new things to try this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm big on skydiving. So I haven't
I'm gonna
officially
let you
jumped out
have
of a
it.
plane.
I'm
No,
gonna let you
indoor
have it.
skydiving. Indoor.
Okay,
Oh
okay,
my,
okay,
it's indoor. So you can do the indoor. You don't have to jump out the plane. The
okay.
indoor is so fun. So when you do that, either try indoor skydiving because it's only so far you can go and you're monitored. They got people around you and you're in like this little tube. But
That's
it's
okay. Is
really
the thing when you up like
yeah,
this?
yeah.
Okay, okay. I think I might want to try that.
Yeah, try
I think
it.
I might.
Try
I
it.
think I
It's
might.
amazing.
Okay.
Or you can do like a riverboat ride. They have a lot of riverboat rides. I know in New Braunfels, which is about 2 hours from here, because I went there not too long ago to see my
Okay.
co-host in a weightlifting
Okay.
championship. But they have like this riverboat ride. So it's all kind of stuff. Nature is beautiful when you do it like that. Just try stuff. Just try some zip lining. Try whatever.
Yeah, I
Think
need to do that
outside the
because when
box.
we went to Vegas, I didn't do it then because
Hmm.
they had cut it off by the time we made it
Oh,
down there. But
okay. Wine tasting is good if you're like
okay.
if you have a wine palate. Um, I know on my way to Atlanta one time, we stopped at this wine tasting place and it was like $5 to taste all the wine. It was
Oh
so good.
wow.
So yeah, wine tasting, just girl, think outside the box. I mean, it's so much to do. You can do
Definitely.
another favorite of mine is what is that? Like those escape rooms. Love them.
Mhm. Yeah, me
Love.
too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So
Well,
so
I
yeah.
have a few travel agents on my list, so we definitely gonna be trying to go different places. I want to go. I do want to go back to Vegas. I want to
Hmm.
go to Miami. I gotta go to LA because I have family out that way. I want to go
Okay.
to Martha's Vineyard. I want just try some. I want to try some different things. I like San Francisco. Yeah, I watched Charm way
Really?
too much not to want to go.
So I definitely wanna visit California. As a matter of fact, I'm making a 2-year plan
Okay.
once my career is set to actually relocate to California. But it's so
Okay.
expensive, so I want to make sure that I can actually afford all
Yeah.
that, before I get out there. But definitely, but I've never visited.
Okay. Well, okay. When I set my trip for LA, I'll keep you in mind so
Please
that
do.
we can make this happen. Definitely.
Please do.
Right. So I'm gonna switch it up. And you used to being a host. So let's get to it. Get to know Kaylee. Ask me anything. What questions did you have for me?
Okay. So, um dating preferences for you. I know we've spoke a lot in the past about your dating experiences and things like that, but what is a preference of a potential partner for you? Like, what do you look for when you're dating someone?
Okay. My my coworkers and friends will tell me that I have a type. I
Oh,
seem to they do like, and then I had to sit back and think. I was like, I kind of do. Like it just always ends up that way. Light
uh-huh.
skin with locks. Light skin with locks.
Really?
It listen. It happens, but that's not something that I'm out here looking for the next light skin with locks. No,
It just happens like
it's the conversation. The
that.
conversations.
Mm.
You have to be able to have good conversation. I'm semi nerd, so
Okay, okay.
we can dabble off in the nerd lane and dabble off into my music. You showing interest in some of the things that I got going on. You showing me
Mm-hmm.
that you have a plan. You got your head on straight. Those things
Mm-hmm.
matter to me. Somebody who has good sense of humor. Ambition is definitely is top tier for me.
Always.
If I can see you got some ambition about yourself. Like
Mm-hmm.
I said, a plan. Like I'm tired of the let's go with the flow or I'm just floating through life just
Mm-hmm.
because. No, I need to see a plan.
Absolutely. Snaps. That's what I'm talking about. But you know what? Come to
Definitely.
think about, there was a certain person that we used to converse about that was light
I
skinned.
I
And I
know
think they
with
did have
locks.
dreads.
With
Yeah.
locks.
Well, oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
okay. It's okay. But so music wise, are you going to can we expect another album from you soon or
You will be getting an EP.
okay,
And
okay.
yeah, the title, The X Files. Like I said, I've been working on this for a couple years, and it was just something on my heart at a period of time before I had my revelations, and I just feel like it needs to get out for me to
Yeah.
even start new projects. Like that has to
Right.
come first before I start something new.
Okay.
So we working on it. We working on it.
Okay, okay. Well, I shall be waiting on that. Um, health wise, how has everything been since the surgeries and
All is well. Like I haven't had any issues with anything running from my nose. I haven't even had any allergy issues. Knock on some type of wood. They did put me on iron pills, and I'm not sure if
Yeah.
that was because of the blood loss during the
Mhm.
surgery, or
Mhm.
it is simply probably genetic because my mom has anemia really, really bad.
Mhm.
But once I go back to the doctor, he said that he would test me so that we could see if he could take me off. I don't want no forms of any type of medication at this point in life.
Yeah.
I have noticed that my ankles kind of swell when I ride in the car for a long time. So I will be
Mhm.
discussing that with him to see what it is, because like I said in the beginning, he mentioned possible autoimmune, but he said he was going to retest my blood to see if it was caused by what was going on up here, or if it's
Mhm.
something hereditary. So fingers crossed that it's nothing major. And I've been working out. Once he cleared me to work out, I started slow, and I'm trying to get back into it and get to my Shanti hip hop abs. That's my favorite.
Oh
That is my
yes.
favorite. I got some
Silk
more.
tucking
So,
Titan.
oh yes,
Yes.
I end up doing the moves out of nowhere, like, and they were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just accustomed to it. I am." But I will say Mr. London on YouTube.
Mhm.
He's a fitness trainer. He developed his own app called ML Fitness,
Mhm.
and I've been working with him for about 3 weeks. And I love his moves. He focuses on like the fupa,
Mhm.
the hip
Mhm.
dips, and definitely getting a good booty. Like those are his things. Like I recommend. I recommend.
Okay. Okay. Absolutely got to check that out. But I think
Yeah.
that's all the questions I have for you right now.
Yay! All right, I really appreciate you joining me on today. It's
Absolutely.
always a
Pleasure being.
joy when we can. Hmm,
I said it was a pleasure being here.
it, I love it. Thank you. It's always good to check in with friends. So y'all take this as a note to check in with your friend and see how they are doing and how they're acclimating to new phases in lives and different things. It's always good to have somebody to help you feel comfortable, help you stay accountable as well. So just continue to check in. That's my main message for today. Anything you wanted to leave the people with?
Um, just be peaceful, be yourself, love yourself, be patient with yourself, as a good friend of mine always says. Um, don't be too hard on yourself. Live life to the fullest. And just be you. Like, don't hide from who you actually want to be. Be the person you want to be. And if you're not the person you want to be, make it the change to be the person that you want to be. So that's all I got for you.
Yes, yes. Well, again, thank you for coming on, and you are always welcome on the corner in the corner. So definitely, if you have a topic that you want to suggest for a later episode, let me know.
Okay, absolutely.
Same thing for y'all people. Y'all got a topic you want to suggest, some music you want to send in to review, because we love good music. You want to
Mhm.
be a guest, hit the email that is scrolling below. All right. But until next time, y'all, keep it bossy, keep it saucy, and don't forget to tell your girl how you bossy.
I know that's right.